I was just reading something about CNN's ratings and MSNBC's ratings post-election. They've crashed. All these left-wing kooks on YouTube are hemorrhaging subscribers.
This issue is funny since the awakened mob is trying to cancel Joe Rogan after learning nothing. However, Rogan's scathing sarcasm continues to undermine awakened liberals, especially those who embrace the media like CNN and MSNBC+. Before we begin the video, please remember to like and subscribe if you enjoy our work. 90% of you have yet to sign up.
They took a clip of me talking about Tulsi Gabbard, and they edited it up and made it look like I was saying great things about Kamala Harris.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
You and I have been mashed up on other stuff and AI, and I don't want to, like you said, we don't want to draw attention. That got taken off the internet, thank goodness. But it was bullshit. It was it was AI and mashup.
Yeah, there's a lot of AI ads with us.
They did that about politics.
Yes, they did it about politics, but they didn't do it like AI. They just deceptively edited the things that I was saying, took it completely out of context. Where I was talking about, first of all, I was talking about Tulsi Gabbard, and then I was talking about that. The media behind Kamala Harris, all this surge and all these people just deciding that she's good, she could win. And they put the two of those together and made it seem like I was praising Kamala Harris and saying a bunch of things that aren't even true about her. Like I was talking about Tulsi Gabbard being a congresswoman for 8 years and about how she served overseas, two deployments in medical units dealing with people who were blown up from the war. Like that's not something Kamala Harris did. It's something Tulsi Gabbard did.
The confidence of these awakened individuals to show us this and believe Joe Rogan said it is just astounding. When Joe Rogan started to dismantle them, he took advantage of every chance he could to expose their hypocrisy.
I just think there's honest money and then there's dishonest money. And I've never had the stomach for...
You mean like the money they paid the people to endorse Kamala Harris?
Oh, yeah, that's pretty dishonest money right there.
So
Cardi
wild.
B, Beyonce.
Did you know that was even legal?
Fools.
Did you know that was even legal?
It shouldn't be legal. The View keeps yammering about how Elon Musk shouldn't be allowed. Or I saw a video yesterday about you. Oh, the Joe Rogans of the world are influencing. You're like,
oh, that's that feminist guy.
Yeah, and like they're so
he tried
mad.
to say that there's this multi-billion-dollar right-wing ecosystem that's been developed, just like a terrorist network that radicalizes young people. Like, what? By talking to scientists?
By telling them to be good guys? To tell them to be honorable to their partner?
Radicalizes.
That's not radical.
Radicalizes.
Also, let me ask you, on air for this podcast, how much money did Donald Trump give you to endorse him?
$100 million.
No, he didn't.
He gave me nothing.
Gave you zero, Joe.
Gave me nothing.
He gave you zero because you thought, I think that this is what's best for the country, given the two options.
I knew the resistance that it would face, but
how
I think it's
much did
true.
Beyonce get?
She got $10 million.
$10 million.
But hold on. She talked for like 3 minutes. That's good.
Despite their threats, Joe Rogan consistently doing excellent things for them. He attempted to get in touch with Kamala's employees, but they persisted in lying and blaming Joe Rogan, so he began exposing them in each episode, starting with these incidents.
Everybody forever was like, Kamala Harris is the worst vice president. She's the least popular vice president of all time. And then in a moment in time, all of a sudden she's our solution. She's our hero. Everybody's with her. All these social media posts about her. Try Googling a negative story on her. You won't find one.
So,
ta-da!
Okay,
Since this is humorous, Steven is the only one on the other side who is yelling about her. However, Joe Rogan is about to unveil something truly remarkable, so this is just the beginning.
So is to be anti-Semitic. You're anti-Semitic.
Right.
If you're going after Officer Harris, you're either racist or sexist or ableist.
Right.
So they will use...
Ableist.
Yeah, because she's a retard.
Jesus.
She's literally retarded. I mean, Ukraine is a country in Europe, and Russia is another country, and a powerful country, and Russia invaded Ukraine, and that's wrong.
What's really important is what can be unburdened by what has been.
I think of her as America's wine mom, because bitch seems like she's 3 deep by noon, and she's got the 3 phases of wine mom. She's got happy drunk. Oh my God, this cereal's got a rabbit on it. It's so great. Cackling, cackling, cackling. Then there is drunk at work, where you're trying to make sense, but you don't. Space is around us all and unites us all and inspires us all. And then there's I'm being stern so you don't realize how plastered I am, and I'm making a point. That little girl was me. Now I'm going to go upstairs and don't knock on the door because I'm going to pass out. So those are her 3 ways she talks, and those are the wine mom phases.
Just think about it. Everyone who was invited to Joe Rogan's podcast turned up and supported him, and it totally demolished Kamala Harris and her woke media. And please watch this video for me if you think that everything they are saying is false.
Donald Trump, you criticized the wall more than 50 times. You called it stupid, useless, and a medieval vanity project. Is a border wall stupid?
Well, let's talk about Donald Trump and that border wall. So remember, Donald Trump said Mexico would pay for it? Come on, they didn't. How much of that wall did he build? I think the last number I saw is about 2%.
To fix the problem, you're doing this compromise bill. It does call for $650 million that was earmarked under Trump to actually still go to build the wall.
I am not afraid of good ideas where they occur, Anderson.
So you don't think it's stupid anymore?
I think what he did and how he did it did not make much sense because he actually didn't do much of anything. We just talked about it. He didn't actually do much of anything.
But you do want to build some wall.
I want to strengthen our border.
It's like she's a perfect combination of dumb and evil. She's the perfect Democrat at this point. She says nothing. She laughs in places she's not supposed to laugh. In essence, she's saying, I want to build a wall now. And she's saying Trump's flaw is that he didn't build a wall.
How in the world? Is anyone going to vote for this? Look it over, please. I think she thinks the load is being interpreted by another interviewer. See how, despite her lunacy, Joe Rogan completely damaged CNN's credibility, which had been declining over the years.
I think CNN is realizing that their ratings are dog shit.
Yeah.
And that having these highly polarizing editorial personalities like Stelter and Don Lemon and, Michael Malice is fucking hilarious. You know what he did? He put up, he goes, now that Chris Cuomo's gone, who's the alpha male over at CNN? And he put up a poll and everybody said Anderson Cooper. I think Anderson Cooper came in first. Yeah. But it's like these guys, I personally, maybe this is just my bias. I want the news. I want objective news. I want someone to tell me what are the facts of what's going on and what's happening. I don't want your ideological slant. Yeah. I don't want this left-wing propaganda network, which is what CNN's become. The way I look at CNN now is so differently than the way I looked at CNN of 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I used to look at them as like, this is how I get the news. This is unbiased, professional news. They're going to tell me what's happening in Pakistan and what's happening in Mogadishu. These are the real journalists that are telling you the news. Now I look at them, I go, you fucking propagandists. Like, what are you, the right arm of Pfizer? Like, what are you doing? Yeah.
That's exactly what everyone is saying right now. And there's a clear-cut reason why everyone loves Joe Rogan. Furthermore, they will be forgotten if CNN continues in this direction. To find out how he crushed the remaining woke media, watch this video.
Someone to tell me what are the facts of what's going on and what's happening. I don't want your ideological slant. Yeah. I don't want this left-wing propaganda network, which is what CNN's become. The way I look at CNN now is so differently than the way I looked at CNN of 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I used to look at them as like, this is how I get the news. This is unbiased, professional news. They're going to tell me what's happening in Pakistan and what's happening in Mogadishu. These are the real journalists that are telling you the news. Now I look at them, I go, you fucking propagandists. Like, what are you, the right arm of Pfizer? Like, what are you doing? Yeah. It's just, I think there's a market for real news, and it's really hard to find that now. It's really hard, especially outside of independent sources.
Yeah. Yeah, and I guess if you're trying to even take a balanced approach to things, like, are you even going to be censored to the point where you can't even be a news outlet to begin with?
How the left-wing media keeps becoming more and more absurd is beyond me. It's quite confusing. When I say this, I also mean the morons on The View. Joe Rogan didn't hold back either. By raising an important issue that they refused to address, he went one step farther, undermining their awakened agenda and exposing the hypocrisy among their ranks, especially in Congress.
The amount of money some of those Congress people are worth, and you're like, you tell me how. You tell me how. You make $180,000 a year and you're worth $30 million. You tell me how. You tell me how. I can't find a way that makes any sense.
even though this is mathematically impossible, the wokies on the left side are not going to remain silent about it. I want you to see this identical view footage as I say this.
If you think about Joe Rogan, he's got the #1 podcast in the country. And then you start to think, well, it's men. She has a problem with men. There are many men that don't want to vote for her.
She doesn't have a problem with her.
That's right.
They have a problem with her.
That's much better. That's much better. Thank you for correcting that.
You want Kamala to go on Rogan's podcast to appeal to men, but then you say it's not her, it's men who have problem with her. So you're blaming the audience of the very podcast that you are trying to win over and honestly insulting them. I don't understand. I think that's a very entitled attitude.
This is who they are, and by the way, they are also the representatives of all the wokies in the US. And this might not relate to this. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and also drop your thoughts in the comments.